And now moving to the war in Europe, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has given his strongest hint yet that Washington could soon lift its restrictions on Ukraine using long-range weapons supplied by the West on key military targets inside Russia. Secretary Blinken signaled that a major decision was on the horizon as he, along with Britain's Foreign Secretary David Lammy, met Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kyiv.
We have adjusted and adapted as needs have changed, as the battlefield has changed, and I have no doubt that we'll continue to do that as this evolves. We have provided, as you know, extraordinary support to Ukraine over these more than 2 years. Not just training, not just money, but among our most sophisticated weapon systems. Again, tied to what their needs are, tied to what can make them most effective.
Washington's move comes as Russia is reportedly being bolstered by ballistic missiles from Iran. Pentagon spokesperson Major General Patrick Ryder confirmed reports of Iranian missiles being delivered to Russia, cautioning that they could be used within weeks against Ukraine. The U.S. has also planned to impose further sanctions on Iran for supplying short-range ballistic missiles to Russia.
The United States has confirmed reports that Iran has transferred shipments of Fateh 360 close-range ballistic missiles to Russia. We'll continue to monitor these developments alongside our allies and partners across Europe and the Middle East and remain steadfast in our support to Ukraine's defense from the threat these missile systems may pose to the people of Ukraine.
But now Ukraine is seeking action against Iran that goes beyond just sanctions. Earlier, Kyiv said it could cut ties with Tehran if Russia used ballistic missiles supplied by Iran to attack Ukraine. It also denounced any such delivery of the weapons as unacceptable.
I will not say now exactly what is meant by devastating consequences, so as not to weaken our diplomatic position. But I can say that all options, including the one you mentioned, cutting diplomatic relations with Iran, are on the table. If this transfer indeed happened, and if the fact of usage gets recorded, and believe me, it will become public once it has happened, then there will be consequences.
For months now, Ukraine has been urging the West to permit strikes beyond occupied territories and hit Russia directly. But Washington has expressed concern about the risk of escalation.
Now, to wage his war of aggression on Ukraine, Putin is also relying increasingly on help from Iran and the DPRK. In these instances, to get actual weapons in clear violation of multiple UN Security Council resolutions. Now, Tehran has long supplied deadly drones. It's built a drone factory in Russia. It's trained Russian personnel on how to operate them. For some time, the United States has warned of an additional threat, the provision by Iran of ballistic missiles to Russia for use in Ukraine. We've warned Tehran publicly, we've warned Tehran privately, that taking this step would constitute a dramatic escalation.
Now, responding to Secretary Blinken's statement, Moscow has warned Washington over Ukraine's use of Western-supplied long-range missiles. The Kremlin says any such escalation by the U.S. would be seen as direct Western involvement in the conflict, and Moscow would, in fact, retaliate.
Of course, all these decisions are already taken potential. We can assume this with high degree of certainty. The involvement of the United States and European countries into Ukrainian conflict has a direct character, straightforward character, and every new step increases the degree of this involvement. Although there is nowhere to increase it, all the results are evident.
So as the world watches closely, the question remains, will the United States allow Ukraine to use its missiles to strike Russia directly? And is Ukraine prepared for a stronger response from Russia? What is certain is that any escalation from either side would open a new chapter in the 2-year-long war raging in the heart of Europe.